What in Celestia is going on here? That day, Rainbow Dash set up a personal funeral for Applejack's family. Then, they were all cremated. Rainbow Dash trotted to Applejack's side. Pinkie Pie told me you were sick. Yesterday, I threw up a lot, and I felt drained. What happened to you? Inquired Rainbow Dash. Well, I'll be darned. The exact same thing, replied Applejack. Strange. Maybe it's some new sickness. I think we should hole up and wait for this all to calm down. I noticed when this area was clear of the sick, the sun started shining, but just in Sweet Apple Acres. That would mean this is everywhere, at least in the Ponyville area. We need to formulate a plan. Where do we go? And who and what do we bring? Well, I think we should take a trip down to Ponyville and tell our friends, Applejack suggested. Rainbow Dash agreed. Applejack took one quick look at the back at her home and her family before leaving. First, the duo went to Pinkie Pie's house in Sugar Cube Corner. The old storm clouds were back. Rainbow Dash had put two and two together during the walk, and wherever these things were, the skies were gloomy and dark. That would mean Ponyville was dangerous, and if the majority of the population turned out to be like the ponies in Applejack's barn, then the chances of survival were slim. When they were nearing Pinkie's home, Applejack stopped. Did you hear that? She asked Rainbow Dash. Dash listened closely. No, wait. Fuck! Hide! Rainbow Dash sounded urgently. Applejack ran into a nearby alley, and Dash followed. She peeked out and noticed Carrot Top walking slowly, stumbling occasionally. At first, she didn't look as bad as the others, until she stumbled once and turned to the side, revealing her intestines hanging loosely, green with rot. Her left back hoof was matted with orange body fluid. Rainbow Dash felt sick at the sight. The dead Carrot Top wandered aimlessly, and was getting uncomfortably close to the alley where Applejack and Dash were hiding. Dash, what do we do? Asked Applejack. Rainbow Dash opened her mouth to reply when she saw that Carrot Top was looking straight at her. Her chapped, black lips came into a demented smile. Black fluid dripped from her mouth as she started limping towards the two survivors. What do we do? What do we do? Those words were bouncing around in Rainbow Dash's mind as she searched frantically for a weapon, or anything, really, that she could use against the zombified pony that was going to try and make Applejack and Rainbow Dash its snack. Her eyes stopped on a shovel. She smiled in relief and grabbed its wooden handle and swung. The metal blade provided a dull, metallic thunk as it collided with Carrot Top's skull. The impact sent the orange pony flying into a wall, head first. Her skull split in two as she fell. Blood and brain fluid leaked onto the ground. Rainbow Dash enjoyed her victory for a second, until it was interrupted by a hungry screech. Dash turned and saw Lyra crawling onto the ground about 20 tail lengths away, with her legs full of more holes than Queen Chrysalis's. Blood trailed behind her in a dark stream. With another swing and thunk, this new threat was taken care of. Applejack was pressing up against a pink dumpster, shivering uncontrollably and crying anew. Rainbow Dash herself felt sick and depressed from killing other ponies, the ones she had called her friends. What had happened to turn every pony into these creatures? After a quick glance to make sure there weren't any more sick ponies, Rainbow Dash and Applejack knocked on Pinkie Pie's door. No answer. What were they expecting? The two ponies exchanged quick glances. Then Applejack bucked at the door. It shattered into a bunch of little wooden splinters. Applejack ran in, with Rainbow Dash and the shovel close behind. At first they didn't see anything, but their eyes adjusted to the dark, and they noticed several dark shapes lurking in the house. Shh! warned Rainbow Dash. The two stepped in, quiet as a mouse, and slid along the wall to a corner. "What are we doing in here?" asked Applejack softly, her voice shaking with fear. "We need to get Pinky out," replied Rainbow Dash. What has she got?" No, denied Rainbow Dash. "Your barn had these things in it, and you're alive. How did all these things get in here anyways?" You know how Pinkie Pie's social is. One probably tried to pound the door, and she answered. Look around. If she's hiding, we might find her. And if they did get her, at least we'll know. Applejack nodded slowly, in sad agreement to Rainbow Dash's plan. Keeping low to the ground, the two ponies searched the area that weren't limited by the shambling corpses. Applejack looked up and warned Rainbow Dash over. Stealthily, Rainbow Dash made her way to her orange friend. She pointed to a table across the room. At first, Dash couldn't see what Applejack was pointing at, but after a second she noticed a bright pink object. Upon closer observation, she made out that it was Pinkamena. Her mane and tail had straightened out, and she no longer had a crazy party pony look. Hiding under a table, right where all the sick ponies were lurking. "Hey, Rainbow," began Applejack. "I just noticed something. When I kicked the door, it shattered, but not very quietly. How did these things not notice?" "Well, they aren't observantly smart, or something. Carrot Top had to get within 10 tail lengths and stare directly at us to notice us. Lyra only found us because, after I killed one of them, I noticed a bit of Carrot Top's skull in the alleyway. It must have landed on her. We can use these ponies' stupidity against them." "I'm a genius," replied Rainbow Dash, louder than she meant. "Well, genius, you just gave us away," growled Applejack. Dash looked around and saw all the zombie ponies staring right at them. "Pinky, run!" shouted Applejack. Pinkamena jumped up and raced out the door before any of the zombies noticed her, except for one. That one dead pony managed to nip Pinkamena's forearm as she galloped past, though she hardly noticed. The wound didn't even draw blood. Applejack bucked one of the assailants into the wall, leaving a large splatter of dark red blood all over it. Rainbow Dash flew up into the air and dove at one of the zombie ponies, a unicorn, now unrecognizable. Grabbing its shoulders, she went up, carrying it with her. The revolting stench of the rotting flesh nearly overwhelmed Rainbow Dash. She took the unicorn up to the roof, held it upside down by its hind legs, and dropped it on its head. The unicorn's cranium split in 5 different strands of soft skull. With nothing containing it, the brain slipped out and slid across the floor in a pool of blood. Looking over at Applejack, she noticed that the zombie ponies were about to trap her in a corner. Rainbow Dash hurried and counted 5 of the creatures. Shuddering, she flew over the remains of the zombie Applejack had bucked into a wall. The kick by itself fractured the skull and killed the brain, but the collision in the wall had turned it into a limp, loose bag of rotting organs and bones. After taking a deep breath, Rainbow Dash picked up the dead pony, flew over to where Applejack was desperately fighting off the snapping jaws of the zombies, and swung the limp body. Blood showered the room when the body exploded upon collision with 2 of Applejack's attackers. The other 3 were distracted, giving Applejack time to slip away. The 2 living ponies fled the building as fast as they could. After a bit of running, they eventually lost the remaining 3 undead. The 2 stopped. Rainbow Dash picked up Applejack, and the 2 flew to the rooftop. Rainbow Dash flopped to the ground. That was close. She breathed in relief and exasperation. Applejack nodded and closed her eyes. Rainbow Dash was worried for her friend. She wasn't who she used to be. Applejack had barely been talking, and hadn't really seemed to care what happened. Losing her family was tough on her, but... "Hey, Rainbow Dash, where'd Pinky go?" Applejack's voice cut through Rainbow Dash's thoughts. With that, Dash realized she had forgotten about her pink friend. Hang on. I'll fly up and see if I can spot her, replied Rainbow Dash, faking a lack of concern. She flew straight up in the air and hovered there, scanning Ponyville for her friend. The first 2 searches were fruitless, but on her third look around, Pinkamena was spotted. Just a block away from the building Dash and Applejack were hiding out on. After making sure Pinkamena's area was clear, she sped at an amazing speed, grabbing her friend, and returned to the rooftop. Rainbow Dash? Applejack? Sobbed Pinkamena. Yeah, we're here. We're all safe for now. Are you okay? Responded Rainbow Dash. Pinkamena didn't respond. She had fallen asleep. Dash decided to do the same. When the trio awoke, it was night. The day and night cycle continues, so the princesses must be fine, thought Rainbow Dash. That provided a lot of relief, though the fact that she hadn't eaten in 2 days had started playing its effects on her. We need some food, Rainbow Dash thought out loud. The others silently agreed, though no pony really knew where to look. Rainbow Dash found a rock and snatched a list into the roof of places to search and other necessities that'd be useful. Food, nearby houses, the cakes shop, weapons, houses and stores, winter clothing, houses. Satisfied with the list, Rainbow Dash hovered in the air above the 2 Earth ponies. Alright, Applejack, you search the nearby buildings for weapons, starting with this one. Pinky, you go to the cakes place and grab what food you can. I'll start searching for winter attire, in case we're ever out in the cold or rain. Sound like a plan? Applejack nodded, but Pinkamena just sat there, not talking, not moving. Rainbow Dash feared for her friend's sanity. Not just Applejack had changed, but Pinky too. Alright, every pony, let's get a move on, before it starts raining. Rainbow Dash took off in the air and flew to the house just a few blocks away. She looked through the window and saw 2 ponies, a stallion and a mare, stumbling around. That's why there aren't many of these things outside. They're all locked inside their homes because of the weather before they turned, thought Rainbow Dash. She flew around back and carefully opened the back door. She slipped quietly inside and crawled on her belly to the kitchen, where she located a large knife on the counter. She grabbed it and slipped stealthily into the living room where the 2 dead ponies were walking around. Rainbow Dash picked up a discarded horseshoe and threw it against the wall, in the opposite direction. There was a loud metallic thunk. The dead couple turned quickly with their heads to the source of the noise. Rainbow Dash took her chance and flew silently behind the mare. She was behind the other zombie, so he wouldn't notice her dying. At least, not before he himself was killed. Rainbow Dash took the knife and stuck it into the mare's neck, right into the brainstem. She dropped, and Dash pulled the blade out of the body, then finished the second zombie with a stab to the top of his head. After an extensive search through the house to make sure there wasn't any more sick ponies hiding, Rainbow Dash sorted through a pile of clothing and discovered 3 fur saddles, a pair of boots. Afterwards, Dash sorted through the kitchen in search of food. She discovered some vegetables in surprisingly good condition, several bundles of hay, and a loaf of bread. Excited with this small bundle of life, Rainbow Dash returned to the rooftop, dropped it off, and flew to the next house. There weren't any visible zombies, so she snuck in the front this time. After a quick search of the house, she decided it was abandoned and continued her search for supplies. After deciding to find food first, Rainbow Dash went to the kitchen and began searching for even a morsel. Nothing in the fridge, nothing in the drawers. The pantry was the last place to search. Rainbow Dash walked up to the pantry door and opened it. She didn't know what it was she saw until the stench hit her, and she heard the growl. There was a zombie pony that had been stuffed into the food pantry. It fell out and landed on her, its hot breath in her face, its snapping jaws threatening to rip her apart. Dash had been taken by surprise, and could just barely hold the thing's mouth away from her nose. She looked for the knife she had dropped, and to her dismay, saw it out of reach. Fighting hard to keep it away, Dash couldn't free a hoof long enough to get the knife, even if it was in reach. Limited options. Rainbow Dash tried kicking it off. Her powerful hind legs managed to lift the zombie's rear end up, but nothing much else. She heard a ripping noise and felt a hot, sticky fluid covering her lowered body. Fuck me, she muttered under her breath. Then, an idea struck her. She grabbed the zombie's left forehoof and shoved it into its gaping mouth. The zombie instinctively bit down, which gave her time to get it off safely. She pushed hard, and it went flying up. Dash rolled out of under the way, just in time, before it hit the ground again. The dead pony exploded into a red and black mess, with the occasional organ drifting around the current of blood and body fluids. Rainbow Dash threw up, which surprised her, since she didn't think she had anything to throw up. Rainbow Dash looked into the pantry. Blood and flies covered everything edible. She sighed, picking up the knife and leaving the house. When she turned around to look at the next house, she noticed something on the roof of the home she was just inside. Maybe I'll find something after all. She flew onto the rooftop of the house and got a closer look at the object she had spied. A tear went to her eye as she saw it was her friends, Rarity and Spike, hand and hoof, holes in their heads. Spike had a handgun in his other hand, with a box of bullets next to it, missing 2. Rainbow Dash sat down and cried for the death of her friends, then grabbed the handgun and the bullets and flew to her rooftop. The sun was already rising when she got back. Applejack and Pinkamena had returned already, and there was a small pile of knives and 1 bullet box right next to another pile, this one of food. Dash dropped off her findings and sat at the far corner of the roof. Applejack trotted to her side. "What's wrong, Sugar Cube?" she inquired. "When I was scavenging, I found Rarity and Spike," replied Rainbow Dash. "Are they okay?" "Let's just say it's how I got the gun." "Oh," said Applejack sadly. She walked over to Pinkamena, who was sleeping again, and started chewing on some hay. Rainbow Dash followed after a second. She felt tired from scavenging and fighting, and sick because her sky-blue fur was now maroon with dried blood. "Tomorrow, I'll take a bath in the river by Sweet Apple Acres," she thought. After eating enough to fill, Applejack and Rainbow Dash curled up beside each other and slept. When the 3 ponies awoke, it was sunset. Dash sat up with a groan and stretched. She grabbed the loaf of bread, ripped off a chunk, ate it, and looked out onto the city below. She saw with shock that overnight, a crowd of zombie ponies had formed onto the street below. "Applejack, Pinky, I think we have a problem," she shouted in anxiety. The other 2 looked down at the horde and gasped. "We're dead. We're all dead," sobbed Pinkamena. "That's not true," said a smirking Rainbow Dash. She pulled out a lighter she found while searching houses the previous day. "What do you plan on doing with that?" asked Applejack. "Watch and learn," replied Rainbow Dash. She grabbed the box of bullets that had the least amount of ammunition, lit the lighter, shoved it into the box, and threw it into the crowd as hard as she could. It exploded into a ball of fire, sending the copper tips of the bullets flying in all directions. "Get back and get down!" shouted Rainbow Dash. Once the ping, ping, ping of the flying bullets stopped, the trio looked over the edge. Out of the huge horde of zombies there used to be, only 2 remained, and they could hardly crawl due to how many holes had been opened in them. Dash took the pistol, loaded it, and flew down to the ground, and shot the survivors in the head. "It's clear!" Dash yelled at the roof. This was greeted by the cheers of the other 2, leaning on the edge, and seeing Rainbow Dash had single-handedly destroyed a large group of the infected. Blood and burnt, decimated bodies covered the ground. "Damn," remarked Dash. She flew up to the roof. "Let's go find the rest of our friends. I'll go to Twilight's. You 2 go to Fluttershy's." With that, she took off to Twilight's house. Dash had to shoot 2 infected on the way. She had 6 bullets left with her. Once Dash got to Twilight's door, she knocked. No answer. Of course. She tried opening the door. Locked. Dash shot the knob, and the door swung right open. She stepped inside and felt something really heavy land on her back. Dash fell to the floor and knocked her head on something. Rainbow Dash blacked out.